Hey, what's up, guys? So in this video, I want to talk about not feeling discouraged or not getting discouraged when following penetration testing. Penetration testing is a very hard career path, which requires you to have a lot of skills in the field. A lot of skills, right? You need to have technical skills, you need to have soft skills, etc. But let's focus on the technical skills themselves. There is a vast amount of knowledge that one has to learn and to understand. And it's important to celebrate the little victories and to make your goals. You might have a final goal, which would be to get a job in penetration testing. And if you ask me what is the fastest or quickest way, or how do you get a job, I would say get the OSCP. And I say that because if you go on Indeed, on LinkedIn, etc., you look at jobs for penetration testers, all of them, or 99.9% of them, are going to ask for the OSCP. And the OSCP is going to put you above many other people who are applying for the same job, because this is a really hot market right now, and it has been for the foreseeable past. And it will be for the foreseeable future. So I think that it is important to remember that in your journey into penetration testing, you will fail, and failure is okay. So for me, it started with, I was in IT audit, and an IT audit, it has IT in the name, but you're dealing mostly with processes around IT, like change management, patch management, access and identity access management, and program development and backups and things like that, right? All things that are IT related. There's also some cybersecurity related, but an IT auditor looks at controls, which are basically processes, procedures, standards that are applied across the company's environment, and the IT auditors wants to verify that these controls are enough, that they're sufficient, but also that they're being executed and that they're working effectively. So an IT auditor looks at things from a higher perspective, and there's nothing wrong with that. That is a great job to have, and it has a role in a company. However, it does not prepare you to be a technical, hands-on the keyboard kind of guy, right? It'll give you many skills, but detailed technical ability is not one of them. So coming from that field to become a penetration tester, obviously my journey is pretty long and pretty steep, right? The learning curve is very steep, but it's not impossible. So for me, when I started with Pentester Academy. And I don't know, I just saw it on my LinkedIn feed, and I'm like, I guess the name and the brand kind of resonated with me. They had a lot of labs, and they still do. And I started there. So I did some of their courses, which had videos, and it was hands-on right away, and I think it's a great resource. However, it was a little over my head, and there wasn't a lot of hand-holding that I would have needed. So what occurred? What happened was that I went through material, but a lot of it didn't stick. A lot of it I was writing down, but when it came time to do things on my own, I really had no idea what to do or where to go. And that lasted for a little while. So just to give you some perspective, I'm filming this in December of 2022. I kind of started this journey to become a penetration tester in June of 2021. So as you can see, it's been a little over a year, about a year and a half, right? Exactly a year and a half, actually. So in a year and a half, I'm still in my journey. I don't have the OSCP, and I'm okay with that. I always knew that this journey was going to be long for me. I like to stay in a place And right now I'm in a place of learning all of the principles, all of the foundation, all of the junior penetration type stuff. And then I'm going to move on to more specialized material, more specialized certifications, and then I'm going to take the OSCP. And for me, I'll know that I'm ready with the OSCP when I'm just very comfortable with the material. I don't want to take the OSCP and take it in 48 hours and not sleep and struggle and just pass it on a whim. No, I want to go into the OSCP and I want to sit down for it, take it, and know exactly what I'm doing and just feel really comfortable. Now, how comfortable will I reach? Will I be able to reach 100% or 90% comfortability? I doubt it, but I want to. The more I prepare and the more I practice, the better I'll be. Now, that's just my choice. And the reason that I share this with you is because it's been a year and a half and I'm still not there, right? And there's been times in this journey where you just get discouraged and you think about, well, is this really for me? It seems that ethical hacking or penetration testing is for those who were born and then from the age of 5 they were already hacking stuff and they had a knack for computing and they were building computers and breaking computers and things like that, right? You hear the stories. It always starts with, well, since I was a little kid, I was always into computing and I developed an OS by the age of 7. It's like, wow, well, I'm obviously not that person, right? So do you have to be gifted to be a penetration tester? Do you have to be born with a knack for IT? No, you don't. It's something that you acquire. It's knowledge, it's skill that you acquire. However, there is a trade. To acquire that, you must pay with time, you must pay with focus, you must pay with some money, you must make some investment in courses and exams and certifications, and you must also pay with patience. And I say patience because, again, it's been a year and a half and I'm still not a penetration tester, but again, I'm okay with that. I'm currently working in a role in vulnerability management, which is huge and I'm super grateful for. But what have I been able to accomplish? So within that time, I have hacked certain rooms in TryHackMe. I've done some over the wire. I've studied for the penetration tester student course for the EJPT version 1. And then I studied for the penetration tester student version 2, almost all of it. I didn't even finish the course. And I passed the EJPT version 2. So I got the EJPT version 2, which is huge. And it is very encouraging. And also, I passed the CISP. Just recently, I passed the PCI ISA. PCI stands for Payment Credit Card Industry. And ISA means Internal Security Assessor, meaning that I am certified to perform PCI DSS assessments, which basically goes into a company and audits their processes, their controls, and their systems that are related to the credit card environment. And I'm going to start doing that next year for the company that I'm working at. Anyways, so all of those things are great things. Am I a penetration tester? Have I reached my goal and my objective? No, not yet. But on my way there have been huge wins, like passing the CISSP, passing the PCI ISA, like passing the Security Plus, like getting the EJPT version 2, which is huge. So my recommendation for you is this. What is your goal and what you want to do? And probably like me, if you're watching this, then you want to become a penetration tester for many reasons, right? It's just cool. It is an awesome job. It's fun. Who doesn't want to have fun and get paid for what they do? So I totally get all of that. So if that's your goal, like me, then you want to get the OSCP. And you might be taking the OSCP and you might be failing it. And you might have actually taken it several times and failed it. But let me encourage you and say that keep on going. that you could do this, that because you're failing, it doesn't mean that you're not apt or able or capable of learning it and becoming it. You just have to be patient. And just like you, many fail. And in that line, I will share a failure that I just had recently, which was pretty discouraging for me. And that was failing the EJPT version 1. So I failed it. I took the EJPT version 2 beta exam in June or July. It was this summer. And as you know, the results were not given until just 2 weeks ago. So from July to November, there's several months where you're just waiting. I was just waiting for the results. So in between, I had already purchased a voucher for the EJPT version 1, but I was one of those people who bought the voucher for the EJPT version 1. I was studying for it and finished the course, and I was about to take the EJPT version 1 when they came out with the EJPT version 2. So me aiming to be in the beta, I never took the exam and then went straight into the PTS version 2, studied most of it, took the exam, and well, you know the rest of the story. So while I was waiting between July and November, I took the EJPT version 1 exam, and I failed it. I failed the exam, and I went back to the course notes, and remember, by this time, some time had passed between me studying the PTS version 1 and taking the exam. Months had passed, right? And I make notes of everything I study, but my problem is that I conglomerate all of my notes. So I put everything together in one. So I don't know which notes came from one course or another resource, right? So what happened with me is that the EJPT version 1 is a pretty straightforward exam, but when I took it, I was overcomplicating things. And instead of doing the easiest things first, I was trying it the harder way and overcomplicating something that was very simple to solve. And I'm sure you found yourself in the same position, in the same spot. So it's not that I didn't have the knowledge, it was that I was approaching it wrong. And I learned from that. And I found a solution to my mistake. And I'm like, this was super easy. I could have definitely passed this exam. But nevertheless, I was very discouraged and I didn't want to take the exam again. I was just studying, and that kind of made me, it's like, okay, well, let me maybe do some try hack me, or maybe let me do something else. I didn't want to study for more exams, and especially that exam. And you might be there, you might have been there, maybe not. But for me, it was very discouraging. But then my boss asked me to become PCI certified, and then I started studying for that. So that took quite a bit, maybe a couple of months or so, to pass that exam. And then I'm back to, it's like, okay, what do I go back and study? So that's where I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me do some try hack me learning paths and things like that, and then I'll take the JPT. But I was kind of roaming around. I didn't have a focused direction. And that's the thing, guys. And I see this a lot. I see a lot of people doing try hack me, and they're doing the JPT, and they're doing the PMPT, and they're doing this other course, and they're doing hack the box, and they're doing over the wire, and they're doing a myriad of things, but they never finish any of them. And it's not to blast anybody. It's not to blast you if that's what you're doing. It is to learn from it. And so what I started to learn from other people's experiences, because I was kind of doing the same as well, is that you really need to be focused, and you need to set small goals that you can accomplish. And for me, that small goal was to pass the JPT, right? So not too long after I passed the PCI ISA exam, the results came for the JPT version 2, and at this point I'm very discouraged. But then when I received the results and it said that you passed this exam, it was just a breath of fresh air, and it was so good to hear that, because it just reinforced the fact that, okay, I can do this. So that's why it's so important. Celebrate the small steps, celebrate the small wins. Whatever that win is for you, maybe it is completing the complete beginner learning path in TryHackMe, or the pre-security, or the junior penetration tester. Set that as your goal and focus on it until you finish it. And then, you know what? Finish it, and then you've accomplished something. Okay, what's next? Look for it. Look for what the next step is, and then, okay, I'm going to do this, and focus on that and just keep on going, finish it, and then celebrate another win, because no win is too small. And your journey from here to becoming an OSCP or a penetration tester is going to be, it's going to include a multitude of stepping stones, a multitude of wins, but also some failures. So just know that it is part of the journey. It is part of the path to becoming a penetration tester, and don't be discouraged, but be encouraged and celebrate the small wins. Set up small goals for yourself, focus on those goals, complete them, even if it takes you a little longer to complete than you were expecting. Make yourself realistic goals, because if you're making huge goals that, okay, I'm going to take the OSCP in 3 months and I'm going to pass it, and then you don't pass it, one, you're going to burn yourself out. Two, you're going to be incredibly discouraged. Or maybe another goal is, I'm going to do all of these certifications within 6 months, a year, and then maybe you don't do all of those certifications, but you only do half of the certifications. And instead of celebrating the handful of certifications that you did accomplish, you are mad and upset about the certifications you did not accomplish. So my suggestion to you is, focus on the things that you are accomplishing, and focus only on the next thing, right? Develop a path to get to the OSCP. I have my path, and my path is, part of it was the EJPT version 2. Next is going to be the PMPT, then the CPTS, I think it is, from Hack the Box, then the CPPT from INE, and then the OSCP. That's mine, right? It's long. I'm totally fine with that. I'm doing it on purpose. But that's my path. But right now, I'm not focused on anything other than the PMPT currently. You do the same thing. Build your roadmap to the OSCP. You might say, well, I don't know what the roadmap should be to the OSCP. I'll make another video on that, but I'm sure you can find tons of help on the internet as well. But I'll probably make a video on that as well. Anyways, make your roadmap. And if you can make a roadmap, a full roadmap, then just think about, okay, where you are at, and maybe start with TryHackMe and say, I'm going to complete these learning paths. And then after that, I'm going to do the EJPT. Or after that, I'm going to do the PMPT, or whatever other certification you want. It's up to you. And focus on the current step, right? Because the fact is that this is very wide. Nowadays, there's tons of certifications, there's tons of resources, and if you spread yourself too thin, time and time is going to pass, and then you're not going to accomplish anything. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. You're accomplishing a lot. Just studying alone is accomplishing a lot. Just gathering information is accomplishing a lot. However, you're not going to feel like you're accomplishing anything, and you're not going to be able to show what you have accomplished, because unless there is a goal at the end of the process, unless there's a finished product at the end of the process of, gathering the raw materials, working through them, if there is no final product to show, which in this case would be maybe a certification or a certificate, then it feels like you haven't accomplished anything. And then to others, it is hard to show that, well, I've done all of these things, because they haven't been finished. So focus and finish on whatever it is that you need to do next. Focus on that and on that alone. Complete it, and then celebrate that win. and let that fuel you and encourage you to take the next step, which might be a little harder or a little longer. So I hope this video helped you. I hope this video speaks to anyone and someone out there. And again, noobs, this is a long journey. It's not for everybody, but it's for you and me. And let's continue strong. Let's continue walking towards the goal. All right. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.